Okay, here we go. This is another day. They are starting to get kind of hot out there. And like this tripod, which I usually try and hold in place for y'all so it doesn't get too shaky on us, is too hot to hold right now. And so it's just a whole lot of stuff going on and hoping that we can get it all fixed. But today I'm thinking about the benefits maybe of having a co-star. Now, obviously in the current environment that I'm filming videos in, that wouldn't really do me any good because it's kind of hard to have a co-star unless I'm carpooling, and carpooling would require me to put some extra effort into getting to and from work every day. And so I don't know if this kind of content is the kind of content that I could honestly have a co-star with, but I do feel like a co-star would help me to kind of come out of my shell a little bit and become more of myself, because I am really good about working off of other people, but I'm not so good about like working off of myself. And people talk about being comfortable in front of the camera and the benefits of all that good stuff, and I think there is something to be said about that, but there is the general comfort of being in front of other people and being able to play off of what they feed you, in that this video format here of just me talking in front of a camera, I am getting no conversational feedback. I am the sole proprietor of these conversations, and I need to facilitate them in that way. And it's difficult because it's unnatural, is probably more so why it's difficult than anything. Like, I don't know that most people in their natural element would just sit around and talk to themselves out loud to this extent. But like, this video format has brought that very expectation to life and made it a reality. And so it's interesting to me to see what becomes of it. What do we do with that? And I'm really, really hoping that what we get is something different and something more interesting. But I first need to figure out some kind of content that I can put out where I can easily have a co-star in it, because that really right now is my issue. Is like, not only do I need to find a co-star, but I need to find co-starable content, if that makes sense. Like, content where it makes sense to have a co-star. I'm just really tired today. Apparently I can't stop yawning. It has been a weird, busy day, and equal parts busy and not busy at the same time. But I really just wish that I could figure out what I need to figure out with these videos here and just get them going, and really trying to get somewhere productive with everything. But I was conducting these interviews today, and that's what really brought it to life for me, that I was doing what I'm doing because I was conducting these interviews, and I just felt like I was in my element. I felt like I was doing like something that I was meant to do, something that I know that I'm good at and that I can do. And so the hope there was to be in my element, doing my thing, and continuing to succeed. But I don't know that that's a reasonable expectation for these videos. The more elements you add to a video, the more difficult it becomes to sustain that process. And like the video that I plan to put together for my new project, the FM radio station that tells about familial music stories and all that fun stuff. That music station, like I've only recorded one video. I haven't even finished it. Like I need to put it together still, and I'm debating actively on hiring someone to put it together for me, because it's just that much of an undertaking. But like I'm afraid that they're not gonna be able to capture my vision, and it's like I want a good portion of the content on that channel to be my own original content. I don't want to have to lean on other people's videos and editing skills in order to make my content succeed. I want to be able to make it succeed almost entirely on my own. And so it's just a wild thing, and I cannot believe that that is what I'm doing, and hopefully someday it succeeds. But until then, I'll just keep doing what I do. I keep yawning. But at any rate, it is a very small world in that I happen to be in the same place as this other person that I work with at the same time, and they were like 40 minutes away from where we actually work. And I saw them and was like, oh my gosh, I swear that this is that person that I work with. But I didn't say anything, I didn't do anything, but I thought very long, and I was like, I'm going to say something, because the dude, I run into him everywhere. Everywhere I go, he is there. And I was going to say something. I was like, if this is him, I'll be so mad that I did not say anything. And I ran into him today, and I asked him, I was like, were you there at this place over this period of time? And he was like, I was. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was you all along. And it's just wild how much of a small world that it is, that I happen to be in the same place as this individual the same day that he happened to be there. And they always like to point that out with the little phrase or whatever, though, oh, it's a small world. And like, saying that holds its own amount of merit, but like actually acknowledging it and understanding it is its own beast. And there's so many things in this world that's like that. Like to know and to be aware of something is different than to understand something. And if you can understand, like, oh, this is a problem because of X, Y, and Z, then you will be more likely to succeed. But if you can't understand that and you're stuck, then even though, like, on paper you can recite that that's the fact, if you can't understand why it's the fact, you're just reciting empty stuff. You're like an empty box in a hollow plate. And that is what's, I think, more damaging than anything, is like thinking that you understand something, or that you only understand something on its very basic surface level, only to have your complete culture rocked and discover that, like, the entire way that you have been understanding this something has been wrong, and that now you need to try and revert all of your understandings back to what it used to be. And so it's just interesting to me that we live in this kind of world in that kind of way, but it's also just like reality, and reality in a lot of ways is unavoidable. We like to try and be like, oh, we can avoid reality, we can do this, or we can do that, and it's like, no, you can't actually. Like, reality's here to stay, and you're gonna keep on staying until you stop. And that is kind of what I have to say about that. And that See, I'm like halfway home and I'm drying out of the topics that I was talking about. And that's why it's difficult to keep this going, because like on my way home, my brain is just fried eggs and it is not going to be able to concentrate enough to keep a conversation going long enough for you to be like, oh my gosh, we made it all the way home. Like, it's weird. Because keeping a conversation going with like a person for 20 minutes is nothing. Keeping a conversation going with the camera, something that's not feeding off of you constantly and giving you more stuff to expand upon and play with, is very hard. And that's what every day is. And like my mind is at its sharpest and at its best when I am doing things in the mornings, because then I can just go boom, 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 and keep things moving. But when I get to a point where it's the middle of the day, I've worked all day, I've used up my brain power, like I start spitting out some fumes. I'm like, I can't do anymore. And that is when we run into issues and things start to get overlooked or forgotten or all of the above. And that's why, like, I always preferred my time off to be in the mornings when I'm fresh for the day and at my proverbial best. And if I am at all behind the 8 ball, like, it's because I had to do all that stuff for myself in the morning. And so it's just interesting to look at that, to try and get a better understanding of it and a better, clearer picture of what's going on. I don't really entirely know how I feel about the whole issue. I feel like it should be less of an issue than it is, but it's here, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. You look at like the issues that we've been having as a society for like a while, and like a lot of them are like 3 decades old or getting darn near 3 decades old. It's like, why is it's been 3 years, or it's been 30 years and we're still talking about this? Like, change takes time, especially when there's this many people involved in the change. Like, I think about changing things at my work and like the amount of things that go into it, and it's just wild to me that all of these things work into that. And there's a little venue off the highway here. I had asked them if I could film my video there, and they never did get back to me. And now I see that they are starting to show things on their TV screen again, and they weren't doing that before, and they have it turned on now. So it's like, oh, so you guys are back in business doing your own thing, and you don't want to talk to me because I am not cool enough for you. You know that I am quite cool. Some might even say that I am the coolest. And but we'll figure it out. We'll continue to figure it out because we have to figure it out. But more importantly so, we will continue to figure out because we succeed, and we will strive and continue to strive for better. And that's all we really can do, is try and strive for the better and make the best of what we've got, and hope to darn that what we've got is worth a darn. And so we got a couple of ideas today. Looks like I'll be filming my birthday video today and getting that bad boy edited and up there. It'll probably be edited and up there come tomorrow. I doubt that I'll have enough time to film it and edit it today, but I should have more than enough time between today and tomorrow to film it, edit it, and get it out in the world. This is a much more stripped down version of what I have been making, and so I think that will come in my favor when it comes time to recording it. Because like last year's video was way over the top, and I did a lot of editing with it. It was a masterpiece in its own right, but I spent a lot of time on it. And so this time around, I was like, I do not feel like putting that much time and effort into something, especially if it's only going to be seen by like 100 people. Like, I should be happy that it got seen by 100 people, but I'm like, I want to be a gajillionaire. I don't actually want to be a gajillionaire, but if I could make a sizable second income out of YouTube, like that would be pretty good. That would feel pretty awesome. That's what I'm hoping that FM 95.5 brings in for me, because so far this has not shown any promise. And although I'm not salty about it, or at least not as salty as I once was, it's still very demotivating to be like, why am I doing this? Oh, because 7 people depend on this every day. And it's just not feasible, it's not good. So the hope will be to move on from this style of content at some point in time and find something that gets a little bit more audience retention and attention, and both retention attention. Like, how long have you retained their attention? Your retention. I wonder if that's where that came from. Retain. To retain information. I mean, I feel like retention's an old word. I don't think we made it up just for social media culture. But, like, even if, what is that? My phone's telling me that it's time to work out, I bet. Which I have done not any working out this whole week. Has been a bad week. And, like, I picked the wrong month to pick it up. I picked it up in April, a month before I go on vacation. I keep forgetting to put clothes in my car every Monday, so I skip it on Monday, and then Tuesday I skip it because I hang out with my fam. And then Wednesdays and Thursdays I've been hitting it, but not this Wednesday because I have so much going on after work today. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm basically just asleep at this point. If you guys think that you're talking to someone, you're false. You're grossly mistaken. I am not someone. I am just a man with a mouth. And, like, I'm not even thinking. I'm just doing. And hopefully, what I do good. And what I do well. And that is my parting words today as I get closer and closer to my house. And I remember the last episode of Boy Meets World that our teacher tells them to do good. And one of the students, the kind of smarter student, was like, don't you mean do well? And he was like, no, I mean do good. That's exactly what I mean. It may not be grammatically correct, but I think it gets the message across. And that is the definition of good dialogue. Good dialogue should not be grammatically correct, but it shouldn't be so, what's the word I'm looking for here? Should not be so removed that it's also just like very wrong. Like, that's not the right way to put it. And I'm pulling into my driveway, and I, as you can see by my 7 yawns, am quite tired today. So I'm just gonna call it. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't a complete waste of your time. And I'll see y'all next time.